So how on earth does a team go from absolute free fall to beating two of its biggest rivals, all in the span of a single week? Well, today we're going to break down exactly how Michael Carrick did it. In just 2 games, he completely turned Manchester United's fortunes around with what was basically a tactical masterclass in simplicity. Let's get into the blueprint.
2. That's the number. That's all it took. We're not talking about a month, not a whole preseason to get things right. We're talking about 2 massive high-pressure games against fierce rivals. To pull off that kind of change in that short a time, well, it's nothing short of remarkable.
I mean, the transformation was just night and day. Before Carrick stepped in, the team looked completely lost, No confidence, no real structure to speak of. And then, literally overnight, 2 huge victories. A 2-0 derby win over City, and then a 3-2 nail-biter against Arsenal. So, what in the world was the secret?
Well, the answer wasn't some kind of revolutionary, complex new system. Not at all. It was a plan built on 3 really core ideas: simplicity, clarity, and exploiting space. See, Carrick didn't try to reinvent the game. He just took it right back to the fundamentals.
So what do we even mean by tactical simplicity? Well, it means every single player has a clear, easy-to-understand job. The number 1 priority was to become solid, organized, and just hard to beat. And once you have that solid foundation, that's when you can launch those devastatingly effective counterattacks.
And he boiled this whole philosophy down into a really clear 3-step plan. First things first, establish a solid, balanced 4-2-3-1 shape. Step 2, use 2 midfielders sitting deep, what we call a double pivot, to basically act as a shield for the defense. And then step 3, the moment you win the ball back, you attack the space behind the other team with pure speed. Simple, right? But boy, was it effective.
Okay, let's put this into practice. Let's look at the first piece of evidence, that match against Manchester City. This game was a perfect masterclass in how you neutralize a team that just absolutely loves to dominate the ball.
So here's where you can really see the change side by side. The old system, this kind of unbalanced 3 at the back, it just left the midfield totally exposed. Carrick, he immediately switched to a disciplined 4-2-3-1, and he used Casemiro and Mainu as that double pivot. Their main job? Just shield the defense and break up City's rhythm. That one structural change brought stability just like that.
Now this is the really smart part. Carrick knew City would play with a high defensive line. They always do. But instead of being scared of it, he decided to use it as a trap. He basically invited them to push high up the pitch, to have all the possession they wanted deep in United's half.
So that begs the question, right? If City's defenders are all the way up the pitch, what does that create? Where's the weakness? Where is all that empty space? The answer to that is the key to Carrick's entire plan.
And this is the payoff. As soon as United won the ball back, there was no slow, patient build-up. It was all about instant, direct, vertical passes that just bypassed City's press and went straight for that huge space behind their defense. This is exactly how they created their chances and, yeah, how they scored their goals.
All right, so that's City. But now for the second case study, Arsenal. This match needed a slightly different tweak, which just proves how adaptable Carrick's principles really were. This was a lesson in how to win a game when you don't have the ball. I mean, just look at these possession stats. They tell a story, but maybe not the one you think. Arsenal had the ball 70% of the time. If you only saw this stat, you'd assume they ran the show. But United's win proves that controlling the ball and controlling the game are 2 very, very different things.
The secret weapon here was what Carrick called intelligent pressing. Now, this isn't about just recklessly chasing the ball all over the place, which is a great way to leave huge gaps in your defense. No, this is about strategically forcing the other team into areas where they can't really hurt you, specifically forcing them out to the wide areas.
And here's exactly how they pulled it off. The forwards, guys like Rashford and Bruno Fernandes, they were told to press Arsenal's center backs. That one simple trigger acted like a wall, blocking off the middle of the pitch. That forced Arsenal to play the ball out wide, right into predictable areas. And from there, United were perfectly set up to pounce on any mistake and launch a counterattack. It worked like a charm.
But a turnaround this big, it's rarely just about what happens on the pitch for 90 minutes. There was a really significant shift happening behind the scenes that kind of laid the groundwork for all of this success.
And yeah, reports from inside the club started coming out that the whole approach to training had changed. Sessions got shorter, but way, way more intense. And this had the effect of sharpening everyone's focus and really improving how they communicated the tactical plan out on the field.
And we can't forget about the human element in all of this. By giving the players simple instructions and really clear expectations, everybody knew their job. No confusion, no second guessing, and when players know their role and they see that it's actually working, well, that's when confidence and belief can just explode, almost instantly.
So, when you put it all together, what are the big lessons we can take away from this two-game tactical masterclass? Let's just quickly summarize the key points here.
So here it is, the blueprint he created. It all starts with balance and a stable defensive shape. That has to come first, because that defensive solidity is the platform for any good attack. From that base, you exploit high defensive lines with direct, vertical soccer. You press with your brain, not just with your legs. And maybe most important of all, you never, ever underestimate the power of simplicity and clarity to give a team its confidence back.
And you know, this quote just sums it up perfectly. Michael Carrick's success wasn't about some radical new invention. He simply took the team back to basics, simplified the game plan, and by doing that, he made Manchester United a really formidable and effective team again.
Which kind of leaves us with this one big, fascinating question, doesn't it? In a sport that seems to get more and more complex every single year, is it possible that the best tactic is still the simplest one? Something to think about.